I'm a fifth-generation Adventist. I was baptized into the Faribault Church. I was baptized in the lake. My dad was a school teacher, so he was gone, except like on the weekends. He'd take us kids out for Sabbath walks. He also was treasurer of the church, and he saw to it that his kids worked. They didn't loaf around. We all had jobs to do. We always had a big garden, and I milked the cows. He had a good bass voice, and he'd always have worship and would sing bass. And he gave Bible studies. Well, we'd been visiting up to Wisconsin, and we were on the way home, and pickup with kids in it driving came along. They came, up over the hill, and we came up over the hill, and we didn't have room or something. I don't know whether we went in the ditch to miss them or something. Anyway, we rolled down the hill at least once, but nobody got hurt. They kind of threw our suitcases out. I was in Minneapolis keeping house for some people. We met on the way to church one morning. I was riding with some people that usually picked me up. My husband was visiting them, and they picked me up. He was in the Army at the time, and he was visiting these people, and they gave me a ride to church every Sabbath, and he was with them, and so I got to meet him. Naturally, being that we were in the same car, and went to church, and we were with these other people, we visited some other people, and so he asked me to write to him, and I told him he'd have to write first, and so he did. And then I wrote back. He was a Army nurse. It seems like it was Arkansas. Well, he was home on leave before going overseas. I don't recall whether I saw him again or not before he went. Well, he was over in France for a while and worked over there in the hospital. I was working at the Faribault Woolen Mills at that time. They made blankets for the war, and I ran a loom that made the blankets out of yarn or wool yarn. Well, you could only get one pair of nylons at a time, and you had to put your name into the store in order to get them. That's when nylons first came out, and they were kind of rare. You just didn't buy up as many as you wanted. He sent a telegram saying that when he would come in on the train, he had to ask my dad first if he could marry me, and that was at camp meeting. And my dad talked to him, and then he came back and he asked me to marry. Well, he said that Papa had said that he could, and so then we that was in July, and we were married in September. We went to the hotel where I had reserved it, and they somewhere or another didn't have the reservation. We couldn't get in. We drove and slept in the car, he in the front seat and me in the back seat, on the wedding night. His mother lived in Cass Lake, Minnesota, and Daddy built a house, a basement, started a house, and that's where we lived. That's the only one he ever built. He never got to finish that. We moved away for church school, so the kids could go to church school. It had 4 rooms, a bedroom and a front room and kitchen, and a room for storage. We had some friends that were from Plainview Academy, and they were friends of ours, and they came to visit. And they thought that I would be a good cook, so they asked us to come out there. Plainview was a small school, and it wasn't more than like 50 or so. I had a lady come in one afternoon a week. I suppose it seemed like a lot. I didn't get any days off to begin with. The only time I got off is when I made lunches. I made lunches before dinner and gave the lunches to the kids at dinner so I could be off for the afternoon.